Okay, so this will be a very boring video for most. What I do every day is I put a bunch of stocks in a watch list named that day's date, so I can go back a few weeks or a few months from now and just look at how those stocks behaved. Like it could be breakouts or breakdowns or some stocks that had news or gapped up on news or gapped down on news or just any kind of stocks of interest. I like to go back and just see if they had any follow through, and it's a good exercise in learning how stocks move and under what conditions do they move, what kind of catalyst do they is needed for them to move, etc., etc. So let's go through the month of January. Again, I'm gonna warn you, it's gonna be long and boring. I do this for me, and I do it on a regular basis. But now I haven't done it since really, I haven't done it this year, so it's long overdue. So TNX, I started tracking it the 3rd of January. Had a nice breakout on volume here. And kind of started running into expected data, which wasn't obviously good, gapped down a lot. Didn't really have any follow through post the breakout day. Let's see. CRSB had a little bit of IPO breakout, very thin. Probably that's why I passed on it. Didn't have any follow through. Not really. PACB, 3rd of January. Let's see. Had some decent follow through, but had some very good volume on a breakout day too, or this not breakout, but it's kind of broke out of a tight bottom range. Not necessarily the kind of setup I like to trade, but sometimes these things can work really, really well. Let's see. I don't really know why I started tracking this one. There's nothing here on the 3rd of January. That's been grinding higher though since then, with higher lows all the way. Again, a bottom breakout, very thin stock, didn't really have any follow through. So this one gapped up, had some follow through. Actually had some really nice follow through. Risk reward wise, this could have been a very good trade actually. Yeah, looks pretty good. I'm gonna put it in another watch list. And what I also like to do is I kind of catalog good looking charts. Just I have built an enormous chart database with thousands and thousands of stocks over the past 10, 15, 20 years. So I've been working on that database for the past 3-4 years now, put in thousands of hours. It's really a good exercise, just going back, looking at charts and looking at stocks with news, and it kind of the same kind of patterns, they occur over and over again. So it's kind of a good thing to do if you want longevity in this business. It's kind of an education. You invest in your education and then you have that skill for the rest of your life. This one had a really good bottom bounce. Very good follow through. This definitely goes into my chart database. No. Very good breakout here. Let's look at a 60-minute chart. Had decent follow through, I guess. Oh, it's such a slow stock. ADR is 1.06. Oh yeah, okay. It was only a 3% move. Okay, just that's probably why I passed on it. It was very low range stock. This thing had a breakdown this day here. Had a breakdown from a Nice range, bounced perfectly off the 50-day, and didn't have a lot of follow through. Thin OTC wheat stock, didn't really have a lot of follow through. Nope. Nope. What happened to this one? Probably got bought out. Oh, PFT. PFPT actually looks good for tomorrow. Let's see. So, oh yeah, this one. I remember this one. I was actually thinking about buying it. I think it looked great on the weekly chart, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Maybe it wasn't this one. It looked good. It held this kind of this range, had a little bit of bottom breakout, or kind of a mid-range breakout. This thing has good earnings. This is kind of an institutional grade stock, so this thing had great follow through. Very good looking short. Oh, this one had sick follow through. Look at that. 70% move. Thin stock though, couldn't buy a lot. I mean even if you could buy, like, say, a $10,000 position, yeah, too thin. Gonna pass on this. This thing had a great short. I had a great short on this thing later on. Let's see. Well, no follow through the first time. It broke out later in the month and actually had good follow through. Let's see, January 3. Oh, it's this breakout here. Thin stock. Some decent follow through. That's some kind of a news. Didn't really have much follow through. Thin stock. Ooh, this one. Ooh. Took out this, or actually didn't really take out this long bottoming range, but look at the follow through. It just went straight up for weeks and weeks. Now it's setting up again. Problem is they have earnings in a couple of days. No follow through. No, wait. Here is the third. Oh, nice follow through. Good looking. See the third. Here it is. Ooh, really good follow through. 30%. Thin stock. No, this one is one I. Oh, okay. This is the 10th. Where's the third? Here is the 3rd of January. I can't really see anything here. Huh. Interesting. 3rd of January. Very good follow through from this break. Why didn't I buy this? I remember I was seeing it when it broke out. I just... Maybe because it was so thin? Had some sick follow through. Let's see here. Okay, so a fade break. I don't know why I really started tracking this one. It's a thin stock. Just I never short those. Oh, really good bottom bounce. Had some news, actually. Super good breakout. Look at the volume. Really good looking. This one I remember. Just decided to pass on it, and obviously it wasn't the best decision. Made a big move. Oh yeah, SALT and SPLK, they both broke out the same day. Now this one I definitely passed on because it was so thin. Looked good. Had some insane follow through. But again, probably passed because it was low priced and thin. Wow, 60% move. 67%, not bad. ORX, let's see, the third. I started tracking it when it actually broke this little range here. I was on it early, I just didn't buy it. Again, it was super thin. Okay, so that was the first trading day of January. So I warned you before, I'm gonna say this again, it's gonna be a long and boring video. Decent follow through. This one is actually a very liquid stock. Let's look at the 60-minute. Opening range highs. Yeah, a risk reward would have been pretty good. Another thin one. Had big follow through. Let's see, what is it? No volume on this little range break. Just no volume. Now this one had some also ultra liquid. And let's see, the opening range highs were at, I'm gonna put it here. Okay, so opening range highs were here at 14.25. Risk would have been like 13.95. So 30-cent stop, and Sting went up like $3, $4 or something. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. This one had no follow through. Again, another thin name. This one had okay follow through. Looked very good. This one had no follow through. Again, I've been put this in several watch lists, but no follow through none of those times. Now MB, this one I remember. I actually wanted to buy this thing on dips, but it never dipped. So I missed it initially. It was so thin. I didn't see it in my scans until it was too late. Yeah, I remember this one. Nah. Another bottom bounce. Had some decent volume. Had some okay follow through. This one is actually setting up again. It's on my watch list. Nah. Let's see the 4th. Where is the 4th of January? Here. Didn't do anything. Well, this one, yeah. Had it gone up a little bit more on this day here, let's see. On this day, I would have bought it. And it was this day I actually broke the range, but it felt like it was up 2 days in a row, so I passed on it. Felt like it was like it would have been a chase, but man, oh boy, what a move! Straight up. No follow through. Had some news actually, or buyout rumors. Had a big breakout day, but the next day it kind of took out the previous day's lows. Now this one I do remember. Oh boy. Another one of these that's just went straight up, but I passed on it for some reason. Like sometimes I pass on trades because I already am in a lot of stuff, or because there is like expected news, like data coming out any week. When it comes to this biotech, sometimes I know there is some data scheduled, and then I pass on those because, in case they release the data early or something. It's a bit too dangerous. And sometimes they only have earnings in a couple of days, then I also pass on them. So there's many reasons I pass on breakouts, but usually because I'm already in a lot of stuff, or because I think the market is very bad. So that was 4th of January. But this thing had a big breakdown from this range. Tight range, had a breakdown on big volume. Now, the follow through was crazy good. Now it's had some hit pieces and stuff. KSS gap down on, well, retail, or actually department store, gap down on weak earnings. Had some follow through. I usually don't trade. Macy's, another department store, just gap down, had some follow through. I usually don't trade gap downs on bad earnings, but I do trade gap ups on good earnings a lot, because they work like way different. Usually gap downs have a tendency to rally back, and then also mathematics just doesn't make sense. Like stocks, it's so much easier for stocks to go up than to go down. This one, no wait, 5th of January. I remember this one. Super thin, ultra thin, but did have some follow through. IPO, kind of a bottom breakout, had some follow through. Not enough for me to care. Let's see. Oh, this one. Let's see. This one I traded. I remember that one. Yep, I took a loss on it. So had a big run from early 2016. Like really didn't have any pullbacks. Every time it bounced off the 20 and the 50-day moving average. So this was the first test of the 100-day. So it tested, rested here for a few days. Let's look at the 60-minute chart. I remember this one. It looked so good. So I bought it here, like I think I bought it high 20s or something, 2080s or something like that, or maybe low 21s. I don't remember. Looked great, and it just sold off and stopped me out the next day. And just stopped me out here at 20. I think I got stopped out a few pennies off the lows, and then it just straight up. But there was an opportunity to get back in on this gap up day. I think I had some news or something, I don't remember. Or the whole sector was strong. The whole sector gapped up. So there was an opportunity to get back in, but I didn't take it. Amazon, oh yeah, this one I remember too. Almost traded it. But it just didn't look like a great setup. It was still in the range, and I usually like to buy stocks that break out of a range. This one was just still inside the range. The same thing with SHOP on this day. It's just gone up a little bit more that day. I would have bought it, but it kind of broke out inside of the range. So GGB. Yeah, there was a sector breakout. Tech broke out. This GGB looked also great on that day. Also pulled back the next day, but didn't retrace as much of the move as Tech did. NTES. A lot of stocks broke out that day. But later on, Went to make big moves. Oh, Yandex, I almost bought this one. It's one of those I just... Why didn't I buy it? Oh, I think I was waiting for dips on it, if I remember correctly. Well, I don't remember, actually. I was watching it initially, but then I dropped the ball on it, and when I saw it later in the day, it was like way higher. I didn't want to chase it. But man, what a great breakout. Like this is just... Oh, this is just so textbook. That's initial leg up. So it has short-term momentum, goes sideways, just rested on the 20-day moving average and had a breakout on volume. Just textbook chart. This thing has been super choppy. Where is the 5th of January? It was here. But this is not a breakout day. I must have put it in a wrong watch list. Wow, another one. Had a little bit of range break, but didn't really have any momentum overall. But did have great follow through. Ultra thin, very, very good earnings, but ultra thin. Okay, 5th of January. Let's remove it. Let's do 6th of January. Okay, not as many stocks, which is good because this video will take forever. Had a little bit of a bottom range break. I had great follow through actually, but volume wasn't great. Fiven had a little bit of a range break, ultra thin. Great follow through. Let's see. Oh, this one actually had a great breakout back in November, but let's see, 5th of January or 6th of January. Gap up, but it was already extended. That's why I didn't have any follow through. Now this one I traded. Oh, this is the no, not the January. Let's see. Nope, the January range break I didn't trade. It wasn't really a good setup here. That's probably why I passed. Sometimes I put bad setups here, but just because they're going up that day on volume, even though it's a bad setup, I still put it in my watch list just to see if they have follow through. Because, you know, a lot of times good setups fail and bad setups have follow through. So, but the important thing is just to have some kind of a method, something you do over and over again that you know works over time. This one actually looks pretty good. Higher lows. Put it on my watch list for tomorrow. Now this one I did trade, but it has some kind of sick fade off out of the gate one of those days. It just stopped me out for a loss, and then it just bounced right back. Like this dip didn't last more than maybe, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. I don't know what the hell that was all about. And then it was just back into the range. Good breakout IPO. Had very good follow through. Let's see, what is this? Now, had a pretty good looking breakout. Very strong stock. Kind of a tight range day before, but wasn't a 5-star setup. Now this one, this one I passed on just because it was an upgrade, and upgrades tend to not have great follow through. But this is a very fast growing stock, and just because it was an upgrade, I didn't buy it. If there had been no news on it, I would have been buying it. That's how my mind works. Oh well. Did I do the 4th of January? Oh, I just forgot to remove the watch list. Let's see, 9th of January, 17 stocks. Okay, let's see. So I had some earnings related news. Okay, that got it up, but it wasn't really a good setup at all. But this one was a good setup, really good setup. Wow. Wow, this is just 5-star. I did not trade it. This is one of these that isn't really good, very good looking, but I just put it in my watches just because it's going up. Twinkies. Looked good. Actually looked pretty good. High lows all the way and broke out on volume. Don't know why I passed on this one. Gapped up on data. No follow through. It's kind of flagging for now. Another week or so sideways action. This thing could be a nice long setup. DDD. Okay, so they had big call buying this day here. Had nice follow through. Let's see the 9th of January. Oh, they had earnings. Actually, I need to check out the earnings. This one. 9th. Wasn't really tight. It had a wide range day the day before, so that's why I passed on it. But I had a breakout on volume that had good follow through. Wow, 35%. But on the other hand, it was very thin, and this is actually a very fast growing stock. So that's always a plus when I buy breakouts, because the stock needs to have a reason to go up, and if the earnings are good, that's a plus. Ultra thin, had good follow through. Another one ultra thin, had some decent follow through. This one gapped up on guidance, did not have any follow through, but it's actually on my watch list because it's getting tight. It's just flagging here and doing some higher lows action, and if it has a breakout out of this formation, it's, it could be good. Another one guided higher, had some decent follow through. Now, no, sorry, this was in February. This one, let's see. So this is some kind of patent-related news move. Had some enormous follow-through. Now this one I traded. This one I did trade. Oh, but I didn't trade it that day. Never mind. I actually traded it on this day. It broke out of this range, then it just reversed and went red on day, stopped out for a loss. Never mind. Another thin one, gapped up, had some great follow through. Usually these kinds of gap up stocks, when I buy them on the opening range highs, and that's usually like the first 30-minute highs. But sometimes I do them earlier, maybe the first 5 or 10 or 15-minute highs. Depends on the volume and a lot of factors. Now this one, I've been talking about this one before in one of my videos. I try to get in on a dip. It did dip to 10.06 midday. That's the lowest it went. And I think I had my bids at $10. So I was literally a few cents from getting filled, and this thing doubled in a few days. Just an insane mover. But I got my range